Oh, well, howdy, and welcome to Cryptid Caravans, where we're hauling in new monsters all the time. You've caught me in the middle of some Thanksgiving leftovers, but I reckon I got time for a little history. And you know what? In honor of Turkey Day, let's talk about something from the land of turkeys. No, not those kind of turkeys. I'm talking about the country of Turkey.
In the eastern part of the country, south of Mount Ararat and Lake Van, lies an aquatic beast.
The Lake Van monster, or Van Canavan in Turkish, is described as an ancient and large reptile-like beast.
Think something along the lines of a 50-foot plesiosaur.
Hang on. Now then, one of the first reported sightings of this creature dates back from just around the turn of the century.
The Ottoman newspaper Sadat featured a story in 1889 of a man being dragged into Lake Van by an unknown creature. The story mobilized the Ottomans into sending out a scientific team to search for this creature to no avail.
I mean, it's not like the Ottomans had a crumbling empire to worry about or anything. If you got that joke, thank you, history teacher. It'd be nearly another 100 years for the Turks spotted that lake creature again.
The Daily Telegraph reported an alleged sighting November 2nd of 1995. The most concrete evidence of the Lake Van monster arrived in 97.
Why'd you come back to me? Go on, get.
After 2 years full of poor quality amateur photos and professional camera crews unable to replicate them, Unal Kozak arrived on the scene.
He took a keen interest in that creature. Needs more pepper.
Kozak wrote a book about the beast from thousands of eyewitness accounts and his own studies. He staked him out a spot overlooking the lake and was able to capture 3 cryptid encounters on film. This film would be the best and only video footage of the Lake Van monster. It was enough to get the attention of the famous marine biologist Jacques Cousteau, who was invited to visit.
Now, there aren't very many stories regarding his visit, or if he even showed up. At least none that I can find. And that was the last sighting of this creature. Now, all the theories and explanations really put the Lake Van monster through the works. Why? Well, that's nobody's business but the Turks.
Kozak's film has garnered plenty of speculation all its own. Many look at the fact the creature moves in a straight line and that the camera doesn't pan very far left as evidence this is all a hoax.
Basically, they say there's a boat purposely kept off screen pulling the so-called creature.
The town of Van doesn't get as much tourism as parts of western Turkey, so creating a claim to fame could lead to an influx of money for the area. Others think the film just shows an elephant out for a swim or a pile of garbage bags pulled out into the lake.
There are other explanations for the Lake Van monster.
The lake is unique in being an inland mineral soda lake. There's not a lot of marine life that could live in that lake.
Mostly just herring. Probably red ones.
And it doesn't have any outlets to the sea. That makes it hard for the lake to support something as large as a 50-foot sea monster. Still, people insist it's a prehistoric dinosaur, or at the very least, a giant squid.
But what if we look at it less through a scientific reality and more through the lens of made-up folklore?
Ancient Armenian chroniclers wrote of Vishaps living in Lake Van.
Vishap is basically just the Armenian word for dragon.
These dragons would live in Lake Van until they grew large enough that the god of fire, Vahagan, the dragon reaper,
you're looking for a name for your Viking metal band,
would dive into the water and pull out the ones large enough to eat the whole world.
While being one of those cryptids that seem to have very little info about it, which seems to be most of them, the Lake Van monster has made a couple appearances in TV.
Josh Gates tried his hand searching for the monster on Destination Truth, and the creature was featured as part of the 3rd episode of Animal X. The creature even appeared in a fictionalized setting in the Secret Saturdays cartoon. Turkey's 16th Prime Minister, Bülent Ecevit, even wrote a poem titled Van Canavan.
It's kind of like that saxophone solo Clinton played called Sasquatch. When it comes to cryptids, Turkey's not a country very filthy with them, but at least they have their own version of Nessie. Heck, maybe we should call it Vanny. And maybe this thing is a giant squid or a dinosaur, or perhaps just an elephant out for a Sunday swim. Maybe it's a dragon still laying in the lake, or a really good marketing gimmick. Well, as always, I've given you the history. Now it's time for you to decide for yourself. And I think I've decided it's time for a piece of pumpkin pie.